Today we're looking at the conjugation of regular AR verbs. Remember that with regular AR verbs, we're always with the infinitive. So the infinitive in Spanish means that a verb ends with AR, ER, or IR. Today we're just working with these AR verbs. But remember again, the infinitive means that it's unchanged or unconjugated, which is why it's ending in AR. That AR is kind of our cue that it's the translation of to plus the verb. For example, hablar is to talk, contestar to answer, trabajar to work, estudiar to study. So it's not saying that any person is doing these actions, it's just saying what they mean. To plus the verb. Now that's when it ends with AR. So now, when we want to say that a certain person is doing this action, we need to conjugate it or change it. Before we can do that, one last thing about the infinitives. If we look at each one of these infinitives, hablar, contestar, and trabajar, what we're going to do first is identify the stem and the ending. Of course, we're working with AR verbs, so our ending is AR for every one of these. If we take off AR, what's left is our stem, and that's the part that we're going to work with when we're conjugating. So we have hablar. If we take off AR, our ending, what we're left with is our stem of, Contestar, we take off AR, we're left with contest. Trabajar, we take off AR, we're left with trabaj. So our stem is trabaj. We're going to add to that. Estudiar, we take off AR, and our stem is estudi. So we're going to add new endings to those stems to say who is doing the action. Another quick reminder, remember that we have subject pronouns. Yo, tú, usted, él, ella, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, ustedes, ellos, and ellas. We are never going to move these subject pronouns from these boxes. So first I want to give you the endings that we're going to use with AR verbs, and then we'll see what it looks like with the verb hablar. Our yo ending is always going to be o. So if I want to say that I do something, I take off AR for my infinitive and I put O in its place, and then I do it. If I want to say that you, informal, do something, I take off that AR and I add AS. If I want to say that usted or él or ella, you formal or he or she does something, I take off that AR and I add an A. We're going to pronounce that A. For nosotros, to say that we do something, we're going to add amos. For vosotros, only in Spain, to say that you guys do something, we'll take off AR and we'll add ais. And for ustedes, ellos, and ellas, to say that you all or they do something, we'll take off that AR and add an. So our AR endings are o, as, a, amos, ais, an. You already know all of these subject pronouns and where they belong, so now we just need to memorize the endings that go with each one of them. An example with hablar. Remember, hablar means to speak. It's always good to know what we're conjugating before we dive into it. So first, we identify our stem and our ending. If we take off AR, that's our ending. What's left is our stem, habl. So this is what we're going to add to for every one of these forms. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in here, the very first thing, habl. This is a step that you won't need to do for very long, but when we're first practicing and learning, it's good to do to get us started. So remember back to the ending that we use with our yo form. We took off AR from our verb hablar, and now we need to add that O in its place. So we have yo hablo, our stem, habl, plus the yo ending O means I speak. For the to form, we add AS to our ending. So our stem, habl, plus the ending as, tú hablas, is you, informal, speak. For the usted, el, and ella form, we're going to add an a to our stem of al. So we have usted habla, él habla, and ella habla. Now for this bottom row, we're going to need to make sure that we always make it clear who our subject is, because habla can go with all three of those. The nosotros form, we're going to add vamos. Nosotros hablamos. We speak. Vosotros, we will add ais. Vosotros habláis. You guys speak. Only in Spain. And finally, ustedes, ellos, and ellas hablan. You all or they speak. We add an to our stem al. We have hablan. Now again, notice this bottom row has a lot of choices for what could be our subject, so we always need to make it clear. However, with endings like o, that can only be yo, so we don't always need to have yo with it because it can't be anything else. It's always good to reiterate and remind yourself by saying yo with hablo, but it's clear to native speakers that that's the only choice that it could be. Now we're ready to really start practicing using AR verbs in complete sentences. Remember, we always need a subject, which are those bold words, a subject, plus the verb with the ending that only agrees with that one subject.